Right. Welcome back. It's the Avid Investor with me, your host, Josh Adamek. And today we're going to talk about the grind, balancing business and family. And, everybody has a different take on this, but there, as you can see, as you all know, on social media and everywhere you look, everybody's posting the grind, do this, do that. It's all about the grind. It's all about putting the work in. It's all about, working getting up early, staying up late, working through the weekends, working through holidays. Everybody has their opinion on the grind, and everybody's opinion is a little bit different. But, everywhere you look, it's out there. And what I wanted to talk about today is balancing the grind and family, business and family. So, to me, as many of you know, if you follow me, if you listen to these recordings, family is very, very important to me, and my business is very important to me, and for me, it's a very, very delicate balance, between business and family. If we go back, just talking about the grind, when I started my business, almost 20 years ago, when I started investing in real estate full time, that's what I did. I grind, I was grinding. I was putting the work in. I was putting the hours in. I was working a full-time job, 50, sometimes 60 hours a week. And then in addition to that, I'm trying to grow my business. So, my typical day, if we go back 20 years ago, my typical day was just got some calls coming in. It never ends talking about the grind. My typical day at my office, at my work, or, I would get up. I'd get up at, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I would have to be at work at 6:30, 7 o'clock to get my day started. So I would have, an hour or so, before I went to work to get some things done. I would work on my QuickBooks. I'd catch up on some emails, and keep in mind, I was just starting my business. So I was doing all aspects of the business. So I do a little bit of paperwork in the morning. I'd get ready. I'd go to work. I'd start work at, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'd put in a solid, 9-10 hours at my day job. And then, I'd get home I'd get done at 5-6 o'clock at night at the end of the day. And then from there, a lot of times it's like right to it. You get running out to check on a property, going to look at a new property, going to meet with a tenant or a resident, going to pick up supplies, going to, do some repairs, some maintenance calls, things like that. So I was doing all aspects of the business, my investment business, while I was working a full-time job. So you want to talk about the grind. I mean, that was the grind. And I did that for, a good part of 10 years. Up until 2010, when I made the transition to go full time into my investing, into my real estate business. And as many of you know, the reason for my transition into full time real estate was not a financial decision. It was more so a family decision. I at the time in 2010, my wife was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer and fighting breast cancer. So here I am, working 70, 80, who knows, 100 hours a week, whatever, working full time and trying to grow my business. And then, my wife is diagnosed with cancer. So, and she's going through treatments and fighting that. And, I quickly came to the realization that, something had to go. And, I needed to try to be there, cause I'm trying to take my wife to, doctor's appointments, be there with her, and I'm taking a day off of work, and then I got to work on Saturday and make up for that. Then I'm getting behind in my business, and I'm like, what, there was too much shit going on, too much stuff going on, and something just had to go. So that's the reason I made the decision to quit my full-time job and go full-time into real estate. Now, I had a little portfolio built up, but it wasn't enough to replace my income. My investing business wasn't wasn't, exceeding what I was making at my full-time job. So, when I made that decision, I'm like, not quite there financially, but I think I know enough about the business to make it work. So I was able to leave my job and transition into real estate full time. And what that allowed me to do was be a little more flexible with my schedule. But what I also having the flexibility to go to the doctor's appointments, be at home even though I'm working. I was there, at a home office. So and don't get me wrong, I could have done much better at the time, but it shifting my schedule and eliminating my job was the right decision for me at the time. So I left my job. I went full time in real estate, and everything going on at home with my wife and the battle that she was going through. And now I don't have a paycheck. so I had to quickly replace that. And that's when I started wholesaling real estate full time, flipping contracts, turning properties, things like that. And, so I had an income to replace. I thought I knew enough about the business. So you want to talk about grind. That's where the grind really kicked in. I joked for a long time, and I still do today, that I work more now than when I had a job. And in reality, that was true for a very, very long time. But I had the flexibility to make things work. So I didn't have a set schedule. But you have to be, dedicated. You have to, have your game plan, your systems in place, things like that. So you want to talk about the grind. That's where the grind really kicked in for me, was, no longer having the safety and security of that paycheck, but having to generate income to maintain our lifestyle and to pay the bills. So I built my business up. I went hard, really hard, first for the first couple of years. I truly did probably work more than when I had a job. But it was a different kind of grind. I was doing it for myself. I was doing it for our family and our future and things like that. And I was getting up early. I was staying up late. I was working through the weekends. But I had the flexibility to, shift my schedule and be there when I could be there, and be there when I needed to be there, which was important. And, I did that for a very, very long time. I want to say for the next probably 5 to 7 years, something like that. I went hard. Still maintain that, 70, 80, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, growing my business, investing, time in my business, reinvesting in my business, and really, really putting in the grind, to grow the business. And then, in 2017, we had another big life-changing event, which many of you already know about. And that's when we were blessed, with twins. Our children were born. So, here I am. At the time, for the last 15 to 17 years, all I knew was 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks, and grind and just working day and night, and occasionally breaking away to do some fun things. We take the weekend off, we go away, but for the most part, it was a lot of long days, long weeks, early mornings, late nights. And, that's what we did, or what I did to, to grow my business and grow my portfolio. But again, in 2017, that's when it all changed. Our kids were born, and for me, the eye opener, I will never, ever forget this. My wife is in the hospital, just gave birth to our children. There were some complications there, and it was a late night. Everybody was in intensive care. My wife was going through heart, having complications, heart and lung failure, with giving birth to to the twins. And then, our kids were born 7 weeks premature. So they were in the NICU, intensive care. So my wife's in intensive care. Both our kids are in the NICU, intensive care. So here I am, my entire family is in intensive care. I'm down at Jimmy John's down the street. It was, I don't know, midnight, 2 a.m, something like that. I'm sitting there. I'm eating. I don't know what you want to call that, dinner, breakfast, whatever it was. It was late. And I'm down there, I'm sitting there, I'm eating. Everybody's, my entire family's in intensive care. I look up on the wall and I see the sign. You guys all know Jimmy John's. They got these signs, and sayings and quotes everywhere. So there's this sign up on the wall, and it says success. Success isn't measured by money or possessions. Success is measured in how your kids talk about you when you're not around. And I read that, I saw it, took a picture of it. I look at it all the time. Never forget that hit home. And it's like, at this point, I got to adjust my schedule. I got to change things. I got to make things work. I got all these additional responsibilities now. I'm a father. So it really hit home. And, for me, from that point forward, it's like, I got a whole nother grind ahead of me. And that's, being a good father, being a good husband, trying to be there, being a good family man. So I knew that, I couldn't continue to be working 70, 80, 90 hours a week, 7 days a week, early mornings, late nights. So for me, the grind, I had a totally different perspective on the grind. And what I needed to do to maintain my business. Well, to that point, business was at a certain point, and we're doing well. I continued to, over the years, as I'm growing my business, I hired more staff and brought more people into the office, added to the team. So educate, delegate responsibilities, things like that. So I was able to shift focus a little bit. But now for me, almost 20 years later, the grind is different. I got to grind on my business. I got to maintain my business. And then I got to grind at home. I got to be a good father. I got to be a good husband. I got to make sure I'm there for the kids. And for me, it's very important to be there. I try to never miss a first, and I miss some things. I'm not there all day every day. I can't be there all day every day, and that's the that's the delicate balance on the grind for me right now is you don't want to fall off of your business. You don't want to fall off on your responsibilities because you have people depending on you. You have family depending on you. You have, my wife, my kids, although they don't understand, why daddy works so much, why daddy can't be there 7 days a week when they, all day, every day. At some point, my hope is that in the future, they realize, what daddy has done, what daddy has created, and the things that daddy has accomplished for them. And my goal right now is, to balance business and family, continue to grow my business over the next coming years, decades, God willing, and continue to grind at home and be a good husband, be a good father, and be there, be at the games, be at the, the dinners, the bath times, reading books at nights, the things that we do. We go do little events, we go do things on the weekends. We go to the monster truck show. We go to the car shows. We go, wherever they go, we go do things. We do the family time, and that's very important. But, it's again, it's a different grind. So and this is my opinion on things. To me, it's very, very important to be there for my family, and it's very important to continue to grow my business, which ultimately provides for my family and provides for the people on my team and in my office and the people that we serve with our investment partners and everybody that's involved with our business. So again, it's a very, very delicate balance. My opinion is you got to be there for your family. but you have to be there for your business as well, because your business provides for your family. Again, if you go back to internet gurus, things like that, I mean, you'll see guys that are like, oh, you gotta grind, you gotta show your family, you gotta show your kids that life is a process, that you gotta put in the work, you gotta miss holidays, if you got to work through Christmas, if you got to miss the family vacation, it's all about your business. Well, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, if you talk to older folks that have been in business for a long, long time, and I'm talking like in their 70s, 80s, that are in retirement, gearing up for retirement, near the end of their lives. I have never once heard someone say, I wish I would have spent more time at my office. So, in reality, the things that are important to you, are what you need to focus on. But for me, I wanted to share my opinion, on the grind, and the grind has a different meaning for everyone. I know I've said that a couple of times already, but that's just reality. I mean, you got to focus on what's important to you. My opinion is that if you're young, put the work in. Focus, forget about the parties, forget about the weekend trips, forget about drinking beer with your buddies, forget about that. Focus on your business. If you grind early on, grow your business, your first couple of years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that is. If you're young, you don't have responsibilities outside of outside of business. Focus on your business. Forget about having fun. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying be a zombie and just work nonstop, but focus. Make sure you're focusing. Make sure you're dedicated. And later on in life, that'll pay tenfold, if not more. On the flip side, if you're a little bit older and you're looking to get started, your kids are grown. They're in school. They're off to college. They're out of the house. Whatever. Focus. If you still want to build, I talk to a lot of people that are just getting started, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. They're trying to figure out, what next. I mean, focus, stay focused, stay dedicated, focus on that grind. But if you're in a position where I am, my opinion is family is important. You can't neglect your family to focus on your business. So you gotta balance that grind. And again, my opinion, take it for what it's worth. You might have a totally different view, totally different opinion, and you're entitled to it. But again, that's where we're at. That's how I grind. That's how I balance business and family. And I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for listening. If you can, if you found value in this message, share this message with someone that can benefit from it. That's all I ask in return. So, like, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're on, take the link, share it with a friend, share it on social media. That's all I ask in return. So thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.